Our exam is going to be probably on Friday, Thursday or Friday, if we finish. If we don't, probably it'll be on Monday. And right after the exam, I'll tell you, okay, you, Fernanda, you, Camila, are going to do the next exam, the PET exam. So please continue connecting and being online. I'll give you access to the link in order to do the next exam and so on. Yeah, but I'll tell you that after at the end of this week on Wednesday. Let's see if we manage to finish. Let's workbook. It is not this book. It is the last book upper intermediate. We were in the second unit, I think. I'm not sure if it's the second unit or the third unit. How are you, Camila? Are you all right?
Hi, teacher. Yes, I'm fine.
Perfect. We were here. We actually did the poison plastic. We checked the bucket list. We did the listening practice. We didn't revise this part, but it was a listening activity. So we better move on. Our homework was this. As I said, it was only checking for today. Yeah, hopefully you have the right answers. If not, you can take a photo of the answers. The answers are there. We have here. Can you tell us, Camila, about make, the expression with make?
Make arrangements, a profit, a loss, a start, a move, an effort, a difference, a decision, a suggestion, something clear.
And do, Fernanda?
Do research, do your best, do somebody a favor, do business, do a good job, do a degree.
Do a degree, exactly. Is there any of these that you don't know?
Make a profit. I'm not sure. What does it mean?
It's when you do business and when you invest in something, either in a small business or a big company, and after a period of time, you receive your money back. You receive a profit. You receive like a payment, yeah, from that money that you invested. That's making a profit. And the opposite, make a loss. A loss is when you lose your money that you invested in, yeah? Either a company, either a business, a cafe, whatever you a school as well. Okay, so let's continue with this exercise. It was listening.
2.5. Make or do. 1,
When you go for a job interview, it's important to make a good impression.
2,
I think we're all tired, so can I make a suggestion? How about a break?
3,
A lot of research has been done into the causes of cancer.
4,
Yeah, a lot of research has been done into the causes of the new COVID variant, Omicron. That's the name, no?
4,
Italy is an important market for us. We do a lot of business there.
5,
I know you don't like my mother, but you could at least make an effort to be nice to her.
6,
We need to have this room painted by lunchtime, so we should make a start now.
7,
I don't mind if we go by train or bus. It makes no difference to me.
8,
Could you do me a favour and lend me £10?
Next part, it was about this, the same expressions with make and do. Very quickly, we listen and check
2.6.
because it was homework.
Expressions with make and do. 1,
Restaurant reviews can do a lot of damage. They can make or break the business, particularly if it's in one of the big newspapers.
2,
We'll never make the airport in time. We're doing about 10 miles an hour in this traffic. I think there must be a big accident up ahead.
3,
What do you do for a living?
I'm in PR. I do interviews and make speeches, especially when the company's had some bad publicity.
4,
We'll have to do even more overtime.
Well, that does it. I'm going to resign. I'm sure I can find a job with better working hours.
5,
Can we make the cake with this plain flour?
Yeah, that'll do fine. We just need to add some baking powder.
6,
I hear you've done a Spanish course.
Yes, I can just about make myself understood now. We'll see when I'm in Madrid next week.
7,
So the boss said you'd done a great job.
Yes, it really made my day. And maybe that promotion I want is looking more likely.
Yeah, so sorry. I turned off my mic. Yeah, those were the answers with extra part, no extra comment, more expressions of make and do. Yeah, make and do. Today we're gonna be focusing on phrasal verbs. You know that phrasal verbs are kind of complicated. The only I could say the only thing that you could do with them is to learn them by heart and use them, because if we don't learn them by heart or don't use them, and even we don't know the definition, then is when we are just screwed. When you sometimes we don't know where we're going and we forget, and we have no idea what they talk about. Sometimes the context tell the meaning, even if you don't know the verb. If you're familiar, you might be familiar with the verb, but you might not be familiar with the expression or preposition. But you've got one advantage: you've got the context. It's not only just a simple question, it has a background sometimes and extra comments, and yeah, it helps you a lot when you are when we are revising for the first time the context. No? Here it says replace the phrases in italics with a phrasal verb. We have phrasal verb for make something up, make up for something, make of somebody, make off with something. If you remember, make something up, make up, we already checked in the previous book. It has like 3 or 4 definitions. And here tips book into the gallery and install. Yeah, you choose. Yeah. You decide one and then we'll revise. Remember, you have to conjugate the verbs. Yeah. For example, here stole, it has to be in past, make, made. Compensate, it's to compensate, is like that, make. No? What do you think? It's infinitive because it's present simple. I don't believe, sorry, he invented, then it is past simple, made. Sometimes you have to conjugate. Okay, you decide and we'll check in a minute, all right? And yeah, 2 minutes. Ready?
Yes.
2.7. Phrasal verbs with make. 1,
Thieves broke into the gallery and made off with 3 priceless paintings.
Thieves broke into this gallery and
Made of with.
made of with. Yes, made off with. That means stole.
2,
Jake's parents are always buying him toys. They're trying to make up for not spending enough time with him.
It is
Make up for something?
yeah, make up for something. Yeah, that means compensate. Chantajear también puede ser. They are trying to compensate. They are trying to make up. You know that we always make up for something.
3,
What do you make of Carol's new boyfriend? I quite like him.
What do you
Make of somebody.
make of somebody? That means think. It's an informal way to say think. Yeah. What do you rec? Also, what do you rec? ¿Qué piensas?
4,
I don't believe his story. I think he made the whole thing up.
And finally,
Make something up.
yeah, make something up. Made of with 3 priceless painting. Maybe you don't know this. Maybe you are familiar to this and you heard. You see thieves. You see priceless paintings. Then of course it's going to be stole. No, of course the context. So as I said, with these phrasal verbs, the context plays like a really important part in this definition of the phrasal verb, made of, obviously. And here the context is Jake's parents always are buying things and they are trying, spending enough time. So it has to be something related to compensate or like not doing right things for him. Yeah, so that's why it's not necessary to know the meaning. No, the context. Actually, there is like an approach, like a strategy for this phrasal verb, which is guessing the meaning from the context. Así se llama también una estrategia. Guessing meaning from the context. What do you make? If you see here, what do you, of course, it's going to be, what do you think? Because it says, I like him. I don't like him. He is nice. He's awful, something related. So it's about opinion. It's about a verb, in this case, think. I don't believe his story. I think he made the whole thing up. Yeah, I don't believe. Yeah, of course, it's a lie. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. Now that you know the strategy, guessing meaning from the context, then do the same. But now we do. These were with make, and now we do. Do away with, do something, do without something, could do with something, do something up. Okay, ready? Then listen and check your answers.
2.8. Phrasal verbs with do. 1,
I'm thirsty. I could do with a cup of tea.
2,
We've bought an old farmhouse. We're going to do it up over the next few years.
3,
I think we should do away with the royal family. They're useless and expensive.
4,
I could never do without my personal assistant. She organises everything for me.
Okay, is that okay? Or I repeat?
That's okay.
All right. Camila, I'm thirsty. I really fancy. Another way to say I really fancy.
Could do with a cup of tea.
Could do. Yeah, correct. This is another way to say I would like. No, you just say I would like. Next, Fer.
Do something else?
Can you read the whole sentence, please?
We've bought an old farmhouse. We're going to do it up.
Do it up. Okay. Number 3, Camila.
We should do away with the royal family. They are a waste of money.
Abolish. Get rid of. Another definition or another alternative. It has to be remove. Get rid of. And finally, Fair.
I can never manage without my personal assistant. She organizes everything for me.
I could never do what?
I could never do without my personal assistant. She organizes everything for me.
Yeah, exactly. Do it after. Now here are the answer. I could do with. That means I really fancy. I really like. I'd like. I could do it up. Yeah. For years. Do away. Remove. Get rid of. Do without. That means that you couldn't live without. You could never live without. All right. So as practice, I think there is a page on the workbook so you can practice about phrasal verb and you don't forget them because probably phrasal verb as well as expressions like this are coming in the exam for sure. I am really sure that they are coming in the exam. Okay, so we don't do this part. I don't consider it so necessarily. If you want, I could share the audio so you can practice. Yeah, it's a listening. It's about talking about. It's about talking about places. It's about places. We move on to the final unit, guys. We have still 2 days in order to finish. The kindness of strangers, narrative tenses, vocabulary, talking about books and films, showing interest and surprise, book at bedtime, and the writing is a narrative, an interview with BBC journalists. Yeah, social experiments, as you can see, it's what this girl is doing, 3 hawks. Just imagine how different the world would be if we all spoke to everyone with respect and kindness. Can you imagine the world like that? Like respect and kindness?
Yes, but it's like a dream. Like, I don't think it's something that could be possible.
What about you? Do you respect and are you kind to other people?
Yes, with like the majority of people, I try to be respectful and nice, but if they are rude to me, I won't be really nice to them.
Yeah, talking about rudeness. Yesterday at night, last night, it was awful because my neighbors, I don't know what's going on, what issues they've got. They always play music out loud, very loud. It was midnight, it was 1 o'clock, it was 2 o'clock, it was 3 o'clock, and they were drinking and playing music so loud, and they were also singing. And I hate them. I couldn't sleep well because of them. Actually, I just slept 3 hours. And today, in the morning, very, very early in the morning, as good neighbors, I declare war to them. So I play some music, I raise the maximum volume, and we listen to black metal, you know, really loud. Black metal is like the heaviest metal of all, so it was a revenge. But anyways, I try to be respect. I mean, but they don't. It's not the first time, and it's not going to be the last time. So I said, okay, now it's time for my revenge. Yeah. What about you, Fernanda?
Yeah, I would say I agree with Camila.
You agree with Camila? So depending on who
Depends a
you,
lot.
yeah, it depends a lot who you live, you deal with, no? So for example, my neighbors, they are the owners. They rent the house, and obviously the landlord is not there. The landlady, it isn't there. She doesn't live there, so she doesn't care. You know that sometimes landlords or landladies, they just care about money, about receiving their payment for each month for the rent. And well, they are sloppy people who probably are into something bad. And anyways, I decided I had enough. So yeah, you can do that, but just be careful because sometimes we don't know people nowadays. We don't know what they are into. So just be careful. I am respectful. I always say hello to all my neighbors, and actually it's little town because I'm not living in Cuernavaca. Well, I don't at the moment. I'm not living in Cuernavaca. I'm staying at my other house, which is here in Jujutla. And I always say hello to my neighbors. They know me. We know each other. We smile sometimes. Even if I don't get really well with them, I don't get on really well with them. So I try to be polite and be, you know, as kind, as cheerful with them. And yeah, they show the same, no? Sometimes, and sometimes we help each other. But obviously there are other neighbors who invade our space, and yeah, it's like that. But anyways, what could we do? Okay, so let's watch the last video introduction of the course.
Welcome to Unit 3. This unit demonstrates what people do to show kindness to others, and how we can all make a difference to someone by helping, even if we don't know them. Listen to some people talking about showing kindness to strangers, and the difference people can make.
I think it's not knowing what's going to happen. You don't know that person, you don't know what their reaction might be, you don't know if something that you do might offend them or upset them, or if they want to be left alone.
They don't always help because of safety, for safety reasons maybe. I just approached a young woman over here because her skirt had ridden up, so I was a stranger, went up to her, I said, "Excuse me love, you need to..." So she didn't know who I was. I came from behind because I was trying to, and It's not easy, and it depends on the context. It depends on the situation when you extend that kindness. But it seems to be harder as we become isolated in communities for basic neighbourly kindness to take place. We've found, yeah.
You know what? I think that's quite a cultural question, because some cultures are very welcoming to people they don't know, others not so much. I'd say in London, yeah, it's pretty good. You can ask someone for like directions. It's a big city and there's so many different people here that you can't imagine everyone knows everything about the city. So yeah, here I guess you can be quite friendly to people you don't know, as long as I guess you feel comfortable.
I think it's very easy. It can be as simple as like making eye contact with somebody and just giving them a smile or like a little wave or something like that. Just passing on some kindness.
Everybody's a stranger in some place in the world when they're visiting, so it's very important.
I think it's very easy to be kind to strangers, but I don't think we do it often enough. I think it's a lot easier just to be nice to people, and then you get that back as well. And just be nice to everybody.
I'm from a culture where it's called manaaki. Care is actually a principle, so helping strangers in need is actually a principle of how we're raised. So there are lots of examples where I've been taken care of, or we've stopped to help a family in need. Car's broken down, it's late at night, taking the kids out, taking them to a home, getting them dressed and sent on their way, or getting money for a bus, and those things are just basic principles of living in a community.
I did see someone's earring fall out in the street, and it looked like quite a sort of precious thing, so I had to run quite a long way after them when I had a sore knee, and to reunite them with this earring. But I think she was quite grateful. I think it was something quite precious to her.
I have helped people. Again, it was linked to my job. I was leaving work one lunchtime, and at the time I was working on a busy retail park, and there was a lady in front of me that didn't look very well. And as I approached her, I asked her if she was okay, and she said no, she was feeling very, very strange. And it soon escalated quite quickly, and she actually collapsed on the floor, which was a bit of a worry, and it did scare me a bit. But luckily I was still close to work, so I could go and get help, and we ended up having to phone an ambulance for the lady. We found out afterwards that she was actually having an anaphylactic shock to some medication that she just bought. So that always stuck with me, that if I hadn't have approached her and asked if she was okay, she could have been quite ill.
Most of the time that I've helped strangers, it's just been something simple like giving them directions or recommending a coffee shop nearby or something like that. But it makes me feel good, especially when I'm in my hometown. I feel like I have, roots there, so I'm better apt to help people around. It makes me feel pretty special.
Well, when I worked in London, and I always was helping people with directions of where to go, and if they were lost, just give them the benefit of my knowledge. And I'd like to think that being kind to people and giving them that knowledge, that I would receive the same whenever I went somewhere different and I was a stranger.
I help strangers a lot. I actually participate in a international hosting sort of network called Couchsurfing. So people from all over the world come and stay with me, and I in turn get to stay with them for free. So I've been doing it for about 4 years. I've met people from all walks of life and all different places in the world. And that is literally opening your home to strangers, not just helping someone on the street. So it just depends on what kind of person you are and how open you are to new experiences and meeting new people and just living in general.
All right, so those were examples of being kind. Yeah, different kind of situation, no? So be kind. Also, other people be kind with you. Narrative tenses, for this last topic, last grammar structure, it is actually a combination of several past tenses. We have past simple, past continuous, past simple passive, past perfect simple, past perfect continuous. Basically all of them, no? All of them. So match the verbs in the sentences. Let's read them together. So there are 3 and 3, 3 for you, Fernanda, and 3 for Camila.
It was raining. I was soaked to the skin. I'd miss my bus.
Thank you. Next, 3, 4.
I'd be walking for an hour. A kind passerby gave me an umbrella.
Yeah, gave me an umbrella. So it is about that. Yeah. Actually, yeah. Past continuous, the first one, past simple passive voice. Even sounds like an adjective soak, but yeah, it is passive voice. Yeah. I missed the bus, past perfect. No, when I arrived to the station, I missed the bus. No, I had missed the bus. It is with had, the past of have. I've been walking for an hour, past perfect continuous. It is sometimes there is no difference between past continuous. Yeah, it's almost the same. And finally, just simple. Yeah, all right. So let's go here, focus on bees, cheese, and refugees. Yeah, Dr. Riyad Al-Sous. Yeah, the bee professor. Look at the photo and read the captions. Who and what is the article about? Well, from the picture, it's about bees, no? It's about the insect. What else do you want to know? Well, here we're gonna read together. I'm gonna read the introduction. Dr. Riyad Al-Sous knows a lot about bees back home in his country, Syria. He worked in the agriculture department at the University of Damascus, where he was known as the professor of bees. He had 500 beehives. Yeah, beehives are like those. And had been researching bees for many years when civil war broke out. Escape, came out, and all the hives were destroyed. Poor bees. Dr. Reed Al-Sous, I don't know how to pronounce that, the university professor and beekeeper who arrived in England with only the jackets he was wearing. Yeah, the jackets, refugees. Normally they stay away from their country. They move out. Sometimes they have nothing. Yeah? They can't carry anything at all. It says here, it continues the story about this doctor. Camila, can you read this first paragraph?
Yes.
Dr. Al-Sous.
Dr. Al-Sous's daughter, Razan, had already left Syria. She had moved to England with her husband and 3 children. They were living in Huddersfield in the northwest, where Razan was setting up the Yorkshire Dama Cheese Company, producing squeaky Syrian-style cheese using Yorkshire milk. This has since become extremely successful and won many awards. Dr. also says Razan told us it was a friendly place and the people had been good to her. So my wife and I came here.
I was gonna say Fernanda, but she's just gone. Razan's award-winning Yorkshire. Yorkshire is the part in the north part. Yeah, cheese. It looks delicious. Would you like to try one day?
Yes, but I'm not sure, like, what are they?
Cheese chunks, probably, with a special flavor. local homemade produce there. Probably combined with not only milk but also honey. Doctor also needed work. He had left Syria with just the jacket he was wearing. He posted on Facebook to find a job as beekeeper, but he was overqualified. Then a lady from Manchester gave him one of her hives, and from this he started his business. He built 2 more out of recycled wood. Now he has 17. In 2017, he launched the BOSS project, a beekeeping training course which aims to help refugees and unemployed making money from honey. Dr. Alsaus was interviewed about the project on BBC Radio's On Your Farm program. He believes that bees are good for the soul. You can see those are the hives, where the hives are kept. You have to be very careful now because he isn't wearing any helmet, but normally you use a special helmet and gloves. Otherwise, you will be stunned. You will be stunned by the bees. No? They are not harmful. They just put it in a defensive way. Yeah. So whenever you see a bee, don't kill it, please. Don't kill it. All right, we have 2 exercises to do. We are not gonna have time to do the second exercise. I'll be focused on the first exercise. The first exercise is about asking and answering questions to this Dr. Alsaus. Yeah, all the questions are in different tenses, well, past tenses actually. So pay attention, girls.
3.1 The Bee Professor. 1.
Why did Dr. Alsaus leave his country?
Because war broke out.
2.
What had he been doing at Damascus University?
He'd been researching bees.
3.
What happened to his beehives?
They were all destroyed.
4.
Why did he go to England?
Because his daughter, Roseanne, had already moved there.
5.
Where was Roseanne living when he arrived?
In Huddersfield in the northwest.
6.
Why couldn't he find a job as a beekeeper?
Because he was overqualified.
7.
How was he helped to start a business?
A lady from Manchester gave him a beehive.
8.
When and why did he launch the Buzz Project?
He launched it last year to train refugees and the unemployed in beekeeping.
All right, I'll show you the answers because of the time. No, it is about past tenses revision. Tomorrow I will be sending you some pictures so you can study a bit of this past tenses and some homework. Yeah, probably this practice exercise 1 and exercise 2. So please do check the grammar and do these 2 parts. Yeah, exercise 1 and exercise 2. Well, exercise 1 only because the other is discussing. Thank you, girls.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye.